The heat was suffocating. 41 degrees Celsius, 106 Fahrenheit. The kind of heat that made asphalt shimmer like water and turned parked cars into ovens. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand and squinted across the empty parking lot behind Riverside Mall. He was 16 years old, skinny, with worn-out sneakers and a backpack full of empty bottles. $27 in his pocket. He needed 13 more to buy his little sister's insulin before the pharmacy closed at 6. He moved between the dumpsters with practiced efficiency, checking recycling bins, collecting whatever he could find. People threw away so much. Cans, bottles, sometimes even unopened drinks. He wasn't proud of it. But pride didn't keep his sister alive. Their mother worked 2 jobs and still couldn't afford all the medication Keisha needed. So Marcus did what he had to do. Every bottle was 5 cents. Every 5 cents was 5 cents closer to keeping his sister breathing. That's when he saw the car. A silver BMW parked at the far end of the lot. Windows rolled up tight. Engine off. Strange. Nobody parked back here in this heat, not when there were shaded spots up front. Marcus almost walked past it, but something made him look twice. Through the tinted windows, he could make out a figure slumped over the steering wheel. A woman, her head tilted at an unnatural angle, her arm dangling limp against the door. Marcus dropped his backpack and ran to the car, his heart hammering. He knocked on the window. Nothing. He knocked harder, cupping his hands around his eyes to see better. The woman's skin was flushed deep red, almost purple. Her lips were cracked and peeling. A small child's car seat sat in the back, empty. On the passenger seat, a hospital bracelet and a bottle of pills spilled across the leather. Marcus pressed his palm against the window and jerked it back immediately. The glass was burning hot. He grabbed the door handle and pulled. Locked. All of them locked. He ran around the car, trying every door, his hands shaking. The woman wasn't moving, wasn't responding. Through the rear window, he could see a canvas tote bag with children's books spilling out, a stuffed elephant, a framed photograph of a little girl with braids. Marcus yanked out his phone and dialed with trembling fingers. 911. What's your emergency? There's a woman in a car. She's unconscious. It's so hot and I think she's dying. Sir, where are you? Riverside Mall, back parking lot. She's locked inside and the engine's off. Is she breathing? I can't tell. Maybe. Barely. Help is on the way. Stay with her. Don't try to move her. How long? There's been a multi-vehicle accident on the highway. We're looking at 25 to 30 minutes. She doesn't have 30 minutes. Please, sir, the paramedics are coming as fast as they can. Marcus hung up and stared at the woman through the glass. Her chest barely rose and fell. Her face was the color of a bad burn. No sweat. That was wrong. People sweated when they were hot, unless their bodies had given up. He looked around desperately. 2 women walking toward their car across the lot. He sprinted toward them, his voice cracking. Please, I need help. There's a woman dying in her car over there. The women looked at him, then at each other. One clutched her purse closer. "I'm sorry, we can't get involved. But she's unconscious. Call the police. We can't help you." They got in their car and drove away, leaving Marcus standing alone in the heat. He ran toward the mall entrance, burst through the doors into the blessed air conditioning, and found a security guard leaning against the customer service desk. "Sir, please, there's a woman in the parking lot. She's trapped in her car and she's going to die." The guard looked him up and down, taking in his dirty clothes, his backpack, the desperation in his eyes. "You touch that car, son." "No, I mean, I knocked on the window." The guard's expression hardened. "That's a $60,000 vehicle. You break anything, that's vandalism. Criminal charges. But she's dying. Then the ambulance will handle it. I'm not risking my job for some kid banging on expensive cars. Please, you don't understand. I understand you need to step back and wait for the professionals." Marcus stood there, his chest heaving, his vision blurring with frustrated tears. The guard turned away and went back to scrolling on his phone. Marcus walked back outside into the wall of heat. He returned to the BMW. The woman still hadn't moved. He pressed his face to the glass and saw it then, a medical alert bracelet on her wrist. He couldn't read the whole thing, but he caught one word: epilepsy. Suddenly, he understood. This wasn't suicide. This wasn't neglect. Something had happened, a seizure maybe, and she'd lost consciousness with the engine off and the windows up. She was a victim, not someone giving up. And she was dying while everyone who could help her chose to look away. Marcus thought about his sister Keisha, about the time she'd elapsed at school and a teacher had saved her life by knowing what to do. He thought about how terrified he'd been, how grateful he couldn't let this woman die alone. He scanned the area and spotted a construction site 50 feet away. A pile of materials sat unguarded. He ran over and grabbed a short length of metal pipe. It was heavy and cold in his hands despite the heat. His whole body was shaking as he walked back to the BMW. This was wrong. This was illegal. He'd get in trouble, maybe arrested. But the woman was dying right now, and nobody else was coming. M.A.M. If you can hear me, cover your face. I'm breaking the window. He raised the pipe, his arms trembled. He thought about the insulin, about the $13 he still needed, about how this would make everything harder. Then he thought about the little girl in the photograph and swung hard. The window exploded inward with a crack like thunder. Glass rained down, glittering in the sunlight. A wave of heat erupted from inside the car so intense it made Marcus stagger backward. The air was thick, suffocating, deadly. He dropped the pipe and reached through the shattered window, fumbling for the lock. His fingers found it. The door opened. Marcus grabbed the woman under her arms and pulled. She was heavier than he expected. Dead weight that didn't help at all. He grunted and dragged her backward out of the car, glass crunching under his shoes. He pulled her into the shade of a dumpster, the only shade he could find, and laid her down as gently as he could. Her skin was scorching to the touch. Her breathing was so shallow he had to put his ear to her mouth to hear it. He grabbed his water bottle, the last water he had, and poured some on his hand. He dabbed it on her forehead, her neck, trying to cool her down. "You're okay," he whispered. "You're going to be okay." Footsteps, voices, people were coming. A man in a polo shirt appeared, phone already raised, recording. "What happened here?" A woman in a sundress followed. "Oh my God, that car is destroyed." Marcus looked up from the woman, his hand still wet. "She was dying in there. I had to get her out. You broke into someone's car." "No, I saved her life." More people gathered, a teenager, an elderly couple, all staring, some recording, none helping. "We should call the police." "I already called 911. Marcus said quickly, "The ambulance is coming." But the crowd's eyes weren't sympathetic. They looked at his backpack, full of bottles, his stained shirt, his desperate face. Then at the shattered window, the expensive car. "Kid, what were you really doing back here?" "I told you, I was saving her." The woman on the ground mumbled something incoherent. Marcus gently repositioned her head, trying to keep her airway open like he'd seen in health class. "Please, can someone bring more water?" Nobody moved. Sirens wailed in the distance. Marcus felt relief flood through him. 2 police cars arrived before the ambulance. Officers stepped out, hands near their belts, surveying the scene. A tall officer with grey hair approached. "All right, step back everyone. What happened?" The man with the phone spoke first. "We found this kid next to the car. Window smashed, that woman unconscious." The officer looked at Marcus. "Son, want to tell me what's going on?" Marcus stood up, his legs shaking. "I found her in the car. Engine was off. It was so hot, she wasn't moving. I called 911, but they said 30 minutes and I knew she'd die. So I broke the window to get her out." The officer's partner, a younger woman, knelt beside the woman, checking her pulse. "She's alive, barely. Severe heat exhaustion, looks like a medical episode." "I was trying to save her." Marcus's voice cracked. The tall officer noticed Marcus's backpack. "What's in the bag?" "Just cans for recycling." "Open it." Marcus unzipped it with trembling hands. Aluminum cans spilled out, clinking against each other. And the money, $27 in crumpled bills. The officer picked up one of the bills. "You collect cans?" "Yes, sir, for my sister's insulin. She's diabetic." "Uh-huh." The officer's eyes moved to the broken glass, then back to Marcus. "You understand how this looks, right?" "How it looks?" Marcus felt panic rising. "I saved her life, or you were trying to break into an expensive car and got caught." What? No. Why would I call 911 if I was stealing?" The woman in the sundress spoke up. "We saw him next to the car when we got here. He had that metal pipe. Because I used it to break the window." Marcus turned to her, desperate. "You can see she's dying." The ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed over with equipment, checking vitals, starting an IV, loading the woman onto a stretcher. Severe heat stroke. Core temperatures probably 107. Another 10 minutes and she'd be dead. See, Marcus looked at the officer. I saved her. But the tall officer was examining the car, the scattered glass, the pipe on the ground. We still need to sort this out. You're coming to the station. The station, but I didn't do anything wrong. Just for questioning. Standard procedure when property's damaged. But my sister's insulin. I need to get to the pharmacy before 6. Son, there's protocol. Rich lady's car gets damaged. We document everything. Protect you as much as her. Marcus felt tears burning behind his eyes. I don't need protection. I need to buy medicine. The younger officer approached. There are cameras in the lot. We'll check footage. If your story checks out, you'll be fine. If my story checks out, the words felt like a slap. The paramedics wheeled the woman toward the ambulance. As they passed, her eyes fluttered open for just a second. She looked directly at Marcus, confusion and pain in her gaze, before her eyes closed again. The tall officer put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Let's go. The sooner we do this, the sooner you leave. Marcus looked at his phone. 4:15, he had less than 2 hours. Am I under arrest? No, detained for questioning. They walked him to the police car. Marcus had never been in one before. The back seat smelled like disinfectant and fear. As the car pulled away, Marcus watched through the rear window. The ambulance drove off in the opposite direction. The crowd dispersed. The silver BMW sat alone, its window shattered, glass glittering like broken promises on the asphalt. He thought about Keisha waiting at home, probably checking her blood sugar, wondering where he was. He thought about the insulin she needed, and he thought about how doing the right thing had landed him in the back of a police car. The police station was cold after the blazing heat. Marcus sat in an interview room, his damp shirt now clammy against his skin. A metal table, beige walls, a camera blinking red in the corner. An officer came in with a notepad. I'm Officer Chen. You're Marcus Williams. Correct? Yes, sir. 16 years old. Live at 223 Oak Street with your mother and sister. Yes. Tell me what happened today, from the beginning. Marcus explained everything. The bottles, the money for insulin. Seeing the car, the woman inside. The call to 911. The security guard who refused. Breaking the window, Chen wrote it all down. The guard can confirm your story, I guess. He told me not to touch the car. So you broke the window anyway, because she was dying. Marcus's voice rose. What was I supposed to do? Let her die while I followed rules. Chen looked up. I understand, son, but you damaged private property, expensive property, to save a life. I know, and the camera footage will back you up, but we have to process this. The owner needs to be contacted. Paperwork filed. How long? Chen glanced at the clock. Couple hours, maybe. Couple hours. Marcus stood up. No, I need to leave now. Sit down, Marcus. You don't understand. My sister needs insulin by 6, or her blood sugar could crash. She could have a seizure or worse. I understand it's urgent, but if you leave now before we clear this up, it becomes a different situation. You want vandalism charges. Maybe attempted theft. I wasn't stealing. I believe you, but I need evidence to prove it. So sit tight and let me do my job. Marcus sat back down. His leg bounced under the table. He watched the clock. 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock. Chen left and came back. Good news, footage confirms everything. You're a brave kid. Stupid, maybe, but brave. You're free to go. Marcus jumped up. Really, go take care of your sister. Marcus didn't wait. He grabbed his backpack and ran through the station, out the doors into the brutal afternoon heat. He checked his phone. 25 minutes. He ran 4 blocks to the pharmacy. His lungs burnt. Sweat poured down his face. His sneakers slapped against the pavement. The pharmacy came into view. He could see the lights still on. Then he saw the employee at the door pulling down the security gate. "Wait," Marcus screamed. "Please wait." He sprinted the last 100 feet. The gate was halfway down. "Please, my sister needs insulin." "Sorry, kid, we closed at 6. It's 6:05. Please, she's diabetic. She needs it today. Registers are closed. Systems shut down. Come back tomorrow at 9. Tomorrow, Marcus felt the world spinning. She needs it now. She could go into crisis. "I'm really sorry." The gate clicked into place. The employee locked it and walked into the dark interior. Marcus stood there, staring at his reflection in the glass. 16 years old, alone, failed. He pulled out his phone and called their neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez. "Mrs. Rodriguez, can you check on Keisha? I'm running late, but I'm coming." "Oh, Marcus." Mrs. Rodriguez's voice was tight with worry. "The ambulance took her about 20 minutes ago. I tried calling you." The phone nearly slipped from his hand. What? Her blood sugar dropped. She collapsed. "I called 911. They took her to County Hospital." Marcus was already running. County Hospital smelled like antiseptic and desperation. Marcus burst through the emergency doors, gasping for air. Keisha Williams. She came in with low blood sugar. "I'm her brother." The nurse typed on her computer. "Room 12. Through those doors, turn left." Marcus found the room. Keisha lay in a bed with an IV in her arm, her small body looking even smaller against the white sheets. Their mother sat beside her, still in her work uniform from the diner, her face streaked with tears. "Mum." "Marcus." She stood and hugged him hard. "Where were you? I've been calling. I'm sorry. I got held up. Is she okay?" They stabilized her, got her glucose back up. "She's sleeping now." Relief washed over Marcus, so intense his knees buckled. His mother caught him. "What happened to you? You're covered in sweat, and is that glass in your hair?" "I was trying to get money for insulin. There was a woman in a car and she was dying, so I broke the window to save her, and then the cops came and I couldn't get to the pharmacy in time, and I'm so sorry, Mum. I'm so sorry."